wide in ancient humans dance, Bhimbeta, India, 30,000 years ago, on a cave wall. Figures dancing, arms raised, legs spread wide, arranged in a circle around a central point. The oldest image of dance ever found, but not the oldest evidence. That came from bones. Foot bones from Homo sapiens 120,000 years ago show a specific wear pattern, repetitive rhythmic movement on hard surfaces over extended periods. The pattern doesn't match walking, doesn't match running, it matches dancing. And in Hohlfels Cave, Germany, 40,000 years ago, archaeologists found the oldest musical instruments ever discovered, a flute carved from vulture bone, another from mammoth ivory. Here's what nobody talks about. There's no evidence of an audience, no arrangement of bones suggesting people sat and listened. The instruments were played while people moved, which means music didn't begin as performance. It began as a metronome, something to keep everyone moving at the same time. The question isn't when humans started dancing. The question is what dancing was actually doing, and why no culture on Earth has ever done it alone. In 2012, psychologist Emma Cohen at Oxford ran a deceptively simple experiment. 2 groups, same aerobics routine, same intensity, same duration. Group 1 moved in synchrony, same movement, same timing, driven by a clear beat. Group 2 moved freely, same effort, no coordination. Afterward, she measured pain threshold using a blood pressure cuff, squeezing until participants said stop. The synchrony group held on significantly longer, not because they were fitter, not because they tried harder, because moving in rhythm with other people activates the endorphin system, the same system that responds to morphine. Then Robin Dunbar at Oxford took it further. He found that laughter, which every culture also does together, never alone, activates the same endorphin pathway. Same mechanism, same pain threshold effect. Laughter and dancing aren't 2 different social behaviors. They're 2 expressions of the same biological system. Synchronize with the people around you, and your brain rewards you with pain relief, warmth, and a felt sense that these people are safe. Your ancestors didn't dance because it felt good. It felt good because dancing's keeping them alive. The military has known this for a long time. Psychologist Scott Wiltermuth at USC confirmed in 2009, people who move in synchrony, even just walking together at the same pace, subsequently cooperate better, trust each other more, and are more willing to sacrifice for the group. No explanation needed, no shared history required, just synchronized movement, long enough. The Romans marched in step. The Spartans marched to the rhythm of flute players, not for tradition, but because it kept formation tight and reduced panic under attack. Napoleon understood it. Every military that has ever existed understood it. But here's what the research added that they didn't know. A 2017 study at Göttingen University found that people who danced in synchrony for 10 minutes showed measurable increases in immunoglobulin A, the first antibody your immune system deploys against infection. Dancing together didn't just make you trust each other more. It made both of you physically harder to kill. In a world where a wound infection ended you, that wasn't a side effect. That was the point. The San people of Southern Africa practice what they call the healing dance. It begins at dusk. A circle forms around the fire. The women clap and sing. The men dance, not casually, not briefly. They dance for hours, through the night, until something shifts. Anthropologist David Lewis Williams spent decades documenting what happens next. After 2 to 3 hours of continuous dancing, hyperventilation, elevated endorphins, decreased prefrontal cortex activity, the dancers enter a state they describe as leaving the body, seeing things, feeling connected to something larger than themselves. The same state reported in deep meditation, the same neurological signature as certain plant medicines. No ayahuasca, no peyote, just movement, rhythm, and enough time. Historian William McNeill called it muscular bonding, the dissolution of individual boundaries through synchronized physical movement, not a metaphor, a documented experience that people across every culture describe in nearly identical terms. The San didn't dance to pray. They danced to become temporarily indistinguishable from each other, and in a group that needed to function as a single unit. That was the most valuable thing they could do. In 2010, psychologist Marcel Zentner at the University of York played music to infants between 5 and 24 months old. They moved to the beat, not randomly, not coincidentally. They synchronized their body movements to the rhythm and smiled more when their movements matched the beat than when they didn't. Nobody taught them. Nobody modeled it. Beat induction, the ability to perceive rhythm and respond with synchronized movement, is documented in humans and in no other primate species. Chimpanzees, our closest relatives, cannot do it. This isn't culture. This isn't learned behavior. This is hardware that exists in every human being born anywhere on Earth. It appears before language, before walking, before almost everything. Your body was built to move with other bodies, not as a feature, as a foundation. Everything built on top of it. Music, ritual, ceremony, celebration, the instinct to nod along to a song you've never heard before, is just the same system expressing itself through different forms across 40,000 years of human history. In 2009, 400 strangers in Liverpool Street Station suddenly began dancing. Rush hour. Commuters everywhere. Nobody warned them. The video went viral, 40 million views in a week. But the most interesting thing wasn't the 400 people dancing. It was everyone else. Hundreds of commuters who had no idea what was happening, who hadn't been invited, who had trains to catch, started smiling, started nodding to the beat. Some started moving. A few started dancing, not knowing the choreography, not caring. Their brains had recognized synchrony and done what human brains have always done when they recognize it. Try to join. 30,000 years after the cave paintings at Bimbetka, 40,000 years after someone carved a float from vulture bone to keep people moving together, 120,000 years after the first foot bone started showing that specific wear pattern on hard ground. Same signal, same response. Every time you can't sit still when a song with a strong beat comes on, that's not a lack of self-control. That's the oldest social technology your species ever built, running exactly as designed. Find the rhythm, find the people already moving to it, and become, for a moment, something that none of you could be alone.